I filmed my niece's wedding, and caught my wife with my brother. At my niece's wedding we all got really drunk and I filmed everything on camera, and then when I watched it I saw my wife kissing my older brother and he lifted her skirt and she laughed. Yeah, that's the headline I never wanted. I'm Aaron, 36. My wife is Madison, 30. My brother is Caleb, 38. From the outside we're Pinterest normal. Starter house, good jobs, a golden retriever named Taco, Sunday dinners at my parents', Linda and Robert, the whole American collage. Inside, little hairline cracks no one wants to admit are there. Madison's such a people person, my mom would say, smiling thin, whenever she hugged Caleb too long. Madison brushed it off, your family's my family. And I told myself I was being insecure. Because honestly, Madison's the kind of woman who lights a room. She makes bartenders overpour and old ladies flirt. People always told me I married up. I wore that like a badge, until I realized I'd also strapped it on like a blindfold. The wedding was chaos in a pretty way. Twinkle lights, a live band that shouldn't have been that good, tequila like bad decisions and tiny glasses. I'm the guy with the camera at family stuff, so I shot everything. My niece and her husband's first dance, my dad doing the twist like he invented it, my sister Jenna crying at speeches. Madison pulled me onto the dance floor, pressed close, whispered in my ear, put the camera down and kiss me later, husband. Her breath was warm. Her mouth found that spot on my neck that short-circuits me every time. Light erotica, heavy heart, because even as she laughed into my collar, I caught Caleb watching us from the bar with that smirk he thinks is charm. Here's the foreshadow I ignored. Madison had been busy lately, girls' nights, sudden work events, a new passcode she said was because of scammers. She started wearing a delicate gold bracelet I didn't buy. Uber receipts didn't match the stories. Little stuff that feels petty to say out loud, so you swallow it and call yourself mature. Near 1 a.m. I set the camera on a table to grab waters. It kept rolling, pointed at nothing in particular, just the edge of the dance floor and the shadowy corner where tipsy people go to whisper. The next morning I woke up wrecked, Madison face down, makeup printing constellations on her pillow. I brewed coffee, sat at the kitchen island, and started skimming footage to cut a cute reel for my niece. Laughs, toasts, Taco photobombing a group shot somehow. Then freeze. In the corner of the frame, blurred at first. Madison. Not with her girlfriends. Not with me. With Caleb. His hand on her hip like he'd claimed real estate there years ago. Faces close. Her head tilted the way she tilts for me when she wants more. He kissed her. Slow. Like they'd practiced it. And then, the part my stomach can't stop replaying, he lifted her skirt just enough, like a dare. She laughed. Not shocked. Not pushing him away. That laugh. Our early days laugh. I rewound. Watched again. Hoped I'd hallucinated on leftover tequila. I hadn't. The room went cold. The coffee tasted like metal. Somewhere upstairs, Madison stirred and called, "Babe?" Like the word didn't snap in half in my mouth. I paused on the still frame and felt the first clean crack run right through the life I thought I knew. I didn't yell. I didn't even breathe right. I just scrubbed back 10 seconds, hit play, watched Madison's mouth soften for my brother, then scrubbed back again like the 11th replay might turn it into a prank. It didn't. His hand slid low, her fingers curled in his shirt like a hook, and she did that tiny gasp laugh I used to think was mine. Light erotica, ugly context. A stupid part of me tried to lawyer the moment. Angles, shadows, maybe the band's lights made it look worse. Then the band cut to slow, her hand went to the back of his neck and my stomach free fell. The camera even caught her lipstick smudge on his jaw when they broke. She fixed it with her thumb. I know that move. She's done it to me in dark bars, breath warm, whispering, "Come home." I paused the frame where his hand lifts the hem of her dress. Not far. Just far enough to make it not accidental. Her knees bent, not away, toward. From upstairs, shower running. Madison humming. The same humming she does when she's about to ask me for a favor. I needed air. I grabbed my laptop, dumped the footage, exported a crisp still with the timestamp. The editor in me woke up, the guy who color grades family videos at 1 a.m. I pulled the shadows up, not to make it dirtier, just to remove any, it was dark, excuses. Clear as daylight. My wife and my brother playing a game in the corner while I filmed the first dance like a fool. Here's where it got worse. Madison's iPad dinged on the charger. She never logs out because she hates passwords. Messages synced. I didn't go digging for hours, I just glanced and the universe did the rest. A thread with Mel Herb. Cute. Except Mel sent Caleb's exact watch selfie 2 weeks ago. Madison, last night was dangerous, winking face, wish we could sneak off again. Mel, Careful. He had the camera. My hands shook so hard I hit the wrong key and screenshot the whole thing by accident. Fine. Receipts. More pinks. A heart. A fire emoji. A photo cropped to collarbone. Hers. Gray hoodie I don't own, lip caught between teeth, the kind of tease you send when you already know the answer. Caption: You still smell like this. I opened our laundry basket. Hotel cedar citrus. Not ours. Madison's green dress from the wedding hung over a chair. The hem had a snag like a ring had caught it. My brother wears a class ring from a college he never shuts up about. I wanted to be wrong so badly my chest hurt. I replayed the clip a 12th time and let the audio bleed into the kitchen. The bass, the laughter, and over it her laugh. It ricocheted around the cabinets like a mosquito you can't find. The shower stopped. Footsteps. Madison padded in, hair up in a towel. One of my t-shirts nodded at her hip like it's hers. You're up early, she smiled, eyes sleepy sweet. She leaned over my shoulder, slid a hand up my spine, mouth aiming for that spot on my neck. My body betrayed me, tilted. Then her phone buzzed on the island, preview lighting the screen. Caleb, you're trouble. I heard my own voice, quiet and wrong. Explain this. I turned the laptop. Frozen frame. His hand. Her laugh. Madison blinked once. Twice. Then she did something I will never unsee. She smirked like I'd told a mildly offensive joke and said, Aaron, we were drunk. It was a joke. Don't be dramatic. She plucked the SD card out of the camera, slid it between two fingers like a coin trick and tossed it onto the counter. Delete it if it makes you weird. She kissed my cheek, light, dismissive, and reached for the kettle like we were starting a normal Sunday. I didn't move. I just watched steam begin to rise and realized the water inside me had already started to boil. I slid the laptop between us like a judge sliding evidence across the bench. Not a joke, I said. I tapped play. We watched together, Caleb's hand, her tilt, that laugh. I kept my eyes on her face, not the screen. People tell the truth in their flinches. She barely blinked. We were hammered. Everyone was kissing everyone. She poured coffee with hands that only shook when she noticed mine were steady. You always do this, Aaron, overthink until you ruin a good thing. Then why did Mel Herb send you Caleb's watch selfie? I turned the iPad. The gray hoodie photo sat there like a landmine. The tone changed. You went through my iPad? She widened her eyes, voice small, pivoting to wounded. That's controlling. You went through my brother? I said, and immediately hated how bitter it sounded in my mouth. She reached for me the way she knows short-circuits me. Fingers up my forearm, thumb brushing the inside of my wrist, the soft place. Light erotica as apology, the intimate, practiced choreography. Baby, she whispered, sliding closer, I love you. It was stupid. One kiss. How many? She blinked. 1. Beat. 2. Beat. Okay, a few times when we were fighting. The story shape-shifted mid-sentence. I felt invisible, Aaron. You work late, you always have that camera between us, and Caleb was there. Her mouth trembled. It wasn't about you. The kettle screamed. She flinched. Then she did the thing I'd only seen in movies, she folded. Literally. Knees to tile, palms up, mascara already smudging. Please don't throw me away, she begged, clutching at the hem of my shirt like a lifeline. I'll block him. I'll delete everything. I'll go to therapy every day. I'll quit my job. I'll move in with my mom if you want. Don't end us over a stupid night. I'm sick. I'm sorry. I stared at the top of her head and felt completely untethered. The woman I married was on the floor like a penitent saint, and all I could think was, who taught you this performance? Because it was a performance. Sobbing, then peeking up to read my face, then sobbing harder. Stand up, Madison, I said. My voice came out stranger than I felt, flat, winter hard. We're not doing this on the floor. She stayed kneeling, tears dripping onto her hands. I'll prove it, she said. Look. She unlocked her phone and shoved it at me, already typing a message to Caleb. This is over. Don't contact me. She hovered over send, eyes huge, begging for my nod like absolution. I didn't nod. Why did you save him as Mel? Because you'll freak out, she snapped, the crying mask slipping to show teeth. Then the mask slammed back on. I panicked. I didn't want to hurt you. Too late, I said, and even that felt small next to the humming in my ears. She grasped for any lever. We can separate under one roof, she sniffed. Just for bills. For taco. We'll go slow. Please. Under one roof is a lie factory, I said. We're closing it. Her face crumpled. I'll die without you. You won't, I said, and hated that I sounded like my father delivering a weather report. My phone buzzed. Caleb, let's be adults. Don't blow up the family over one dumb moment. A second later, come by. Beer? The gall. I typed exactly one sentence. All future contact through counsel. Then to Madison, you're going to your mom's for a week. We'll talk logistics by email. I'll send you a list. Therapy, no contact I write, boundaries we both sign. She reached again, and this time she pressed her lips to my wrist like prayer, breath warm, voice shredded. Please don't throw me away. The coffee went cold between us. The steam stopped. The quiet felt like a cliff edge, and for the first time I stepped back from it. I packed like a firefighter, head clear, hands fast. Not because I'm brave, because panic wasn't helping. I dropped Taco at my parents and told my mom, Linda, the watered-down version. Madison and Caleb crossed a line at the wedding. She looked at my face, not my words, and said, document, don't detonate. Dad, Robert, squeezed my shoulder and added, steady wins. I hate when they're right. Back home, the house smelled like her shampoo and bad decisions. Madison had staged repentance. Bible open on the table, her phone unlocked on the counter like a communion wafer, mascara washed but eyes still glassy. The instant I stepped in, she slid to her knees, again, on hardwood this time, hands clasped under her chin. I can't breathe without you, she whispered. I'll do anything. Don't throw me away. It would have been moving if it weren't the third act of the same play. I made a list instead. 1. Freeze joint account. 2. Export video plus stills plus text threads to an external drive. 3. New passwords not based on first pets. 4. Therapist for me. 5. No contact that I send. 6. Week at her mom's. I emailed the list to her and CC'd myself like a lunatic who trusts paper more than people. Then I found out who taught her the performance. Dina, her mom, pulled up 10 minutes later in oversized sunglasses and a fence. A good husband protects his wife's reputation, she announced as she swept into my living room like it was a stage. Her husband Rick followed with pamphlets from his strip mall forgiveness seminar. We can restore you 2 in 2 sessions, he beamed, offering a QR code like it could heal bone. Dina, I said, your daughter needs therapy, not a publicist. Madison made a sound like a wounded animal and crawled to my feet, clutching my pant leg. Please don't send me there, she sobbed, meaning her mother's house, not hell, though same vibe. We can separate under one roof, she bargained. For bills. For Taco. I pointed at the door. 1 week. Your mother's. Email only. She went, eventually, leaving behind a cardigan and a silence so loud it rang. Night is when humiliation hunts. I lay on the couch replaying the kiss, the skirt lift, the way she fixed his lipstick smudge with her thumb, my move. Then the darker reel, Caleb's text, let's be adults, and Madison's line that stuck like a fishbone. If you were half the man, she didn't finish it, but my brain did. I got up because staying there felt like drowning. I opened my laptop and made a folder, receipts _not_h. I dropped in the stills, the synced Mel Herb thread, a screen of Caleb's contact name. I wrote a 1-page timeline like a police report. I messaged a lawyer a buddy recommended, Alan, rumored to have cheerful socks and shark eyes. Before I slept, barely, I set a glass of water on the nightstand and wrote 3 words on a sticky note. Water. Sleep. Proof. Not because I'm enlightened. Because revenge that boomerangs is still a wound and I was out of blood. Alan, cheerful socks, shark eyes, called within an hour. We go quiet and surgical, he said. No Facebook arias. Paper only. Music to my hollowed-out soul. He drafted 3 things. Fast. 1. Temporary separation. 2. A no-contact Madison sends to Caleb written by me. 3. A preservation of evidence letter, devices, cloud, even the iPad with Mel Herb. I staged a tiny summit in my parents' den. Just Mom, Dad, Madison, and Caleb. No Dina, no Rick with coupons for absolution. I laid out a thin stack like X-rays. A printed still of the kiss with timestamp, the skirt lift frame, 2 Mel texts. Last night was fire / careful, he had the camera. Madison started crying before anyone sat, then slid off the chair to her knees, of course, hands clasped under her chin. Please don't hate me, she keened, reaching for my ankle like a life ring. Caleb tried reasonable. Hands in pockets, big brother calm. We were drunk. It got messy. Don't blow up the family over a bad minute. Dad stared at him like he'd turned into a stranger in our living room. Mom folded her hands and said very softly, the family was blown up in the corner of a dance floor, dear. I pushed the phone across the coffee table. Type this, I told Madison. Caleb, effective immediately, do not contact me. All future communication goes through counsel. Madison. She looked up, eyes huge, begging for a softer version. I waited. She typed, sent, collapsed into tears, then crawled the 2 steps to press her forehead to my knee. Light erotica disguised as repentance. Breath warm through denim, the old choreography trying to short-circuit my spine. I stood. She stayed crumpled on the rug. Caleb's reply lit the screen. Received. No apology. No punctuation. Just arrogance in lowercase. Dina barged in anyway, oversized sunglasses, outrage like perfume. A good husband protects his wife's reputation. Rick hovered with pamphlets. Radical forgiveness. 2 sessions. Mom didn't raise her voice. Dina, either sit and be quiet or wait on the porch. Dina sat. Quiet enough. I didn't torch anyone. I just placed truths. A 12-minute call with the 2 relatives most likely to get weaponized by rumor, my aunt who hosts, my cousin who organizes carpools. I screen shared 3 slides, names cropped for kids' sake. The still, the text, the boundary. Please don't discuss this with the nieces and nephews, I said. If you love them, keep your mouths closed and your doors open. They nodded, teary and adult. Night still hunted me. I tried on forgiveness like a jacket that used to fit. I even let Madison come by for dinner, stupidly thinking family table might break the spell. She sat close, brushed the inside of my wrist with her thumb. Electric. You smell like home, she whispered, lip grazing that soft spot. My body leaned, my brain remembered the projector. I slid my chair back like a brake. Her face cracked, she slipped toward her knees again. I caught her elbows. No more floors, I said. If we ever have a chance, it won't be built on this. When the house quieted, I added new files to receipts_H. A ring notification of Caleb on my porch the day after the wedding. Why? An Uber receipt that didn't match girls' night, a hotel cedar citrus charge we don't use. I wrote 3 fresh words on the sticky note. Locks. Logins. Lawyer. Then finally I slept for 2 hours. That counted. If you jiggle one lie, the whole closet coughs up bones. First rattle. Money. While Alan filed the temp separation, I pulled our credit reports like I was sweeping for mines. Found 2 cards under Madison's maiden name, both maxed, minimums paid from our joint. A payday loan listed my business as her employer, because it gets a better rate. When I asked, she went straight to the floor, knees, palms up, mascara, tears. I just wanted to feel independent, she hiccuped, then softer. I'm sick, I need help. Translation, I did it. Please parent me. Second rattle. Tech. Her iPad, saint of synced mistakes, held a hidden album named Melodies. Inside, cropped hotel mirrors, her in a gray hoodie I don't own, lip caught between teeth, captions like still smell like you. Light erotica, heavy nausea. The iPad also caught a Telegram icon tucked in a Calculator Plus folder. Password? Her sister's birthday. Threads with Mel Herb, dates stretching months back. Last night was fire. Careful, Aaron's suspicious. Boardroom next time? Boardroom. Not a joke. A plan. Third rattle, family. Dina launched a Facebook opera about controlling husbands and protecting daughters, tagging half the PDA. Rick DM'd a coupon. Radical forgiveness, 2 sessions. Like absolution had a QR code. Madison's brother, Tyler, texted from an unknown number. Mom says you are spiraling. Also, can you spot me $700 till Friday? Skeletons, but make them chatty. I went boring on purpose. Alan sent Caleb a preservation of evidence letter, devices, cloud, even hotel loyalty accounts. He also set a boundary script. All communication by email, factual, logistics only. When Caleb tried beer diplomacy, Alan answered with, through counsel. Mom printed the emails and put them in a manila folder labeled clarity like we were staging a bake sale of truth. Madison broke the week at Mom's on day 3, showed up at dusk, cardigan armor in July, and dropped to her knees on the porch before I opened the door. I'll delete everything, she whispered, pressing her forehead to my thigh like prayer. I'll sell my car, I'll tattoo your name, I'll move states. Don't throw me away. My body remembered the choreography. My spine remembered the footage. Stand up, I said. We're not worshipping a lie. She stood, swayed, tried a new script. We can just pretend for a while. For the family. That word snapped something. The family blew up in a dark corner, I said. I'm just turning on lights. Then came the twist I didn't see. A DM from Avery, Caleb's on-off girlfriend I'd barely clocked. He told me you were abusive, she wrote. Then I saw Mel. I'm sorry. We met for coffee. She slid her phone across the table. More hoodie mirrors, different weeks, same watch on his wrist, same captions. He reuses passwords, she said, not smug. Tired? It didn't make me feel vindicated, it made me sure. I decided on my revenge, clean, not cinematic. No FB rants, no midnight doorstep scenes. Just a 30-second reel and 2 screenshots placed exactly once for the people who kept getting weaponized by rumor. A family check-in, post-wedding debrief we'd already scheduled, turned into my stage. Not a massacre, a mirror. Night still haunted me. I tried forgiving in place for an hour, let Madison come in to talk. Within minutes she was close, thumb on my wrist, breath warm at my neck, whispering, "You smell like home." My body tilted. My brain threw the projector up in front of my eyes. I stepped away and said the line I keep writing on sticky notes. Forgiveness without truth is performance. She folded, knee first to the floor, sobbing, "Please don't throw me away," like a hook she thought would always catch. I added 3 more words to the note on my fridge: water, sleep, proof. Then I copied the clip to 2 drives, stuck one at my parents' and circled the date on the calendar. No fireworks. Just geometry. The kind that leaves a room in usable shape when the smoke clears. The family check-in was supposed to be about thank yous and leftover centerpieces. I left the decorations in the trunk and carried in a borrowed projector and a folder labeled Clarity. Mom's living room smelled like lemon oil and restraint. Dad stood by the window like security. Jenna wrangled kids to the basement. Dina floated in late with oversized sunglasses. Rick hovered with pamphlets. Caleb arrived in a polo with that permanent smirk. Madison in a cardigan 2 shades too soft for what was coming. I said, 2 minutes? Then we can argue forever if you want. I hit play. Not a montage. 15 seconds. The corner of the dance floor. Madison. Caleb. The kiss. His hand lifting her skirt just enough to erase the words accident and joke. The laugh. I stopped it on the frame where her fingers hook his collar. Gasps are different when they belong to people you love. Mom's sharp inhale. Jenna's, "Oh my God." Dina whispering, "No." I clicked to slide 2, a cropped screenshot. "Last night was fire, wish we could sneak off again," from Mel Herb. Then slide 3, careful, he had the camera. No yelling. No color grading. Just receipts. Madison went down like a marionette with cut strings. Knees to carpet, hands clasped under her chin, tears immediate. "Please don't hate me," she keened, crawling the half-step toward me until her forehead brushed my knee. Light erotica disguised as repentance. Her breath warm through denim, the choreography my body knows too well. I took 1 step back. "Stand up," I said. "We're not fixing this on the floor." Caleb tried swagger. "We were drunk," he said. "It got messy. Don't blow up the family over a bad minute." Dad's voice came from somewhere older than both of us. "You blew it up in my house with my name on your back." Silence rearranged the furniture. Dina went operatic. "Aaron, a good husband protects his wife's reputation." Rick produced a pamphlet like a magician. Radical forgiveness, 2 sessions. Mom didn't raise her voice. "Dina, we're protecting children. If you can't help, don't harm." She reached into a basket and handed me tissues like a judge handing down terms. I put the folder on the coffee table. "Here are mine," I said, steady because paper makes me brave. "Madison, a week at your mother's, therapy, no contact, you send that I write, all logistics by email. Caleb, any contact goes through counsel. Nobody discusses this with the kids. If you love them, lock your mouths." Madison grabbed for my hand, eyes huge. "I'll quit my job. I'll delete everything. Please don't throw me away." Her voice cracked on throw. For a heartbeat, I felt the old reflex, the part of me that wants to lift, carry, fix. Then the projector's cooling fan hummed like a metronome and the feeling passed. Caleb said, "Be an adult, bro. Let's get a beer." I pointed at the folder. "Be an adult. Read." He stared, something rattling behind the smirk. "You're not Dad," he muttered. Dad answered without moving. "No. He's a man." I powered down the projector. The room stayed dim anyway. As people stood, absently touching walls like the house had tilted, Mom pressed a glass of water into my hand. "Steady," she whispered. "You did it clean." Madison's last try came at the door. Knees again, palms up. "I'll die without you." I looked at the woman I chose, the brother I trusted, the wreckage between them, and said the most adult sentence I've ever managed: "You won't. But this version of us will." Then I walked out into a sky that felt too big and exactly the right size. The day after the projector, my phone turned into a slot machine. Pings from every direction, some hearts, some knives. Caleb sent a single text. You humiliated me. Alan, cheerful socks, shark eyes, replied on my behalf with the preservation of evidence letter and all future contact through counsel. Paper beats pout. Dina launched a Facebook opera about controlling husbands and protecting daughters. Aunt Janice screenshotted it to Mom with the caption, "Bless her heart." Rick slid a flyer under my door for his strip mall miracle, radical forgiveness, 2 sessions. It went from mailbox to recycle bin like a sacrament in reverse. Madison's brother Tyler texted from a new number. Saw the drama. Can you spot me $500 till Friday? Skeletons with Cash App handles. I kept it boring. Closed the joint account. Opened a trustee account for house/utility/taco expenses with a public spreadsheet so, who paid what became math, not performance. Changed passwords off, first pet. Set a new email, logistics only, and auto-replies that said, for the kids' privacy, please refrain from discussing this matter by phone or social media. I sounded like a corporate voicemail. Good. Corporate voicemails don't cry. Madison broke the week at Mom's on day 2. Thus, cardigan armor. She dropped to her knees on my porch before I even opened the screen. Aaron, I'm dying, she whispered, pressing her forehead to my thigh. Light erotica disguised as repentance. Her breath warm through denim, the muscle memory of 10 good years trying to hack my spine. I stepped back until the screen kissed my shoulders. Stand up, I said. We're not worshipping a lie. She stood, swayed, tried a new script. We can pretend for a while. For the family. My mouth surprised me. The family blew up in a dark corner. I'm just turning on lights. Mom called that night. Proud of you for being steady, she said. Dad added, steady doesn't mean stone. Translation, it's okay to cry. I did, quietly, over the sink like a leak I could tighten later. I met Dr. Patel, my doctor, not the pediatrician, for the panic that kept waking me at 3 a.m. He said, hydrate, move, talk, and I hated how simple it sounded. I booked therapy anyway. The counselor didn't hand me wisdom, she handed me sentences that fit in my mouth. Forgiveness without truth is performance. Grief is the bill for love you actually had. Revenge that boomerangs is still a wound. I wrote them on sticky notes like spells. Avery, Caleb's on off, DM'd, I'm sorry. You told me you were abusive. She sent another hoodie mirror, different week, same watch. It didn't vindicate me, it clarified the shape of the lie, not one night. A pattern copied and pasted. I tried forgive in place, once, let Madison come by just to talk. Within minutes she was close, thumb on my wrist, whispering, you smell like home. My body tilted, the projector word in my head. I stepped away. No more floors, I said when her knees bent. She collapsed anyway, sobbing, please don't throw me away, like a song stuck on the hook. I stood in the doorway and realized mercy for her had become cruelty to me. Alan filed the temp separation and a tidy boundary script. All exchanges public, logistics by email, no triangulation, no surprise visits. He CC'd both families. Dina replied with 6 paragraphs of scripture and 1 of slander. Alan answered with 2 words, noted. Filed. At night I still saw the frame, the kiss, the skirt, the laugh, playing on the back of my eyelids. But a new frame started splicing in beside it. Me in the garage under a headlamp, hands black with honest grease, a stubborn bolt giving way. Geometry, not drama. Clean lines where I could make them. A life I could narrate without flinching. The hardest part wasn't the projector. It was the living room with no projector, just people. We don't have kids yet, just a pack of nieces and nephews who treat me like Jungle Jim and Hero, but my sister Jenna asked for ground rules. We're not letting this turn into a whisper game, she said. So I borrowed a page from therapy and wrote a script the family could actually carry. Grown-ups broke a promise. It's not your fault. Grown-ups are fixing it safely. We still love you. No extra adjectives. No villains and crayons. Madison hated that boundary because it didn't give her an audience. She tried to wedge herself back into the narrative with late-night voicemails and 3 acts. Act I, whispered contrition, I'm ready to do the work. Act 2, resentment, if you were half the man. Act 3, collapse, please don't throw me away. I saved them to the folder and didn't reply. Revenge, I kept reminding myself, is clean or it's just another wound. Caleb attempted Cobro diplomacy from a number Alan was already archiving. Let's not poison the well with lawyers. We're family. Translation, quit building a paper trail. Alan replied, All communication through counsel, then added a preservation clause for hotel loyalty accounts and Telegram. Yes, my brother thinks he's a spy. Yes, he reuses passwords. No, I didn't look. Avery handed that part to Alan with a grimace. Dina pushed a new chapter of her Facebook opera. When men can't keep a woman happy, they blame the woman, and got roasted in the comments by 3 PDA moms and Aunt Janice, who posted a single line, "Truth is not cruelty." Rick taped a revised flyer to my door. Radical acceptance, 2 sessions. With a 10% family discount. I filed it under compost. I made myself a different kind of program. 3 verbs on a whiteboard over the coffee maker. Hydrate. Hydrate. Water before coffee. Move. 6 a.m. boxing. Hit the heavy bag until the projector in my head skipped frames. Make. Pick up the camera that betrayed me and film something that isn't pain. I signed up for a weekend doc workshop and started a tiny side project. Hands. Short portraits of small-town makers. The cobbler with nicotine-stained fingers, the florist who talks to peonies, the kid rebuilding a BMX in his driveway with duct tape and charm. Madison learned that my quiet didn't mean I was frozen. It meant I was stacking bricks. She tried one last door rattle, showing up with a church bulletin at dusk. Cardigan armor. Knees. I'm changing. I looked at the paper, then at the projector's ghost behind my eyes. Time-stamped behavior, I said gently. Not flyers. That night, I drove to the ridge outside town with Taco asleep in the passenger seat and watched the sky burn out behind the silos. I said the thing out loud that I'd been avoiding in my head. I'm not less of a man because she chose chaos. The air didn't shimmer. Angels didn't sing. But something inside me loosened, like a bolt I'd been reefing on finally gave with a soft, honest click. We finalized the divorce in a room without drama. Just signatures, copies, and Alan's cheerful socks like confetti for adults. No courtroom speeches, no gavel soundtrack. Property split by math, not shouting. A tight boundary order around holidays. A clause that made beer diplomacy a contemptible idea. Caleb tried to swagger one more time via text. We're good, right, bro? Alan answered with 2 words, order attached. Madison's final act was a whisper. No more operatics, no porch knees. Just a last voicemail at 3:12 a.m. You'll never find love like mine. For once I didn't save it. I deleted it while heating water for oatmeal and laughed into an empty kitchen because she was accidentally right. I would never again want a love that needed darkness to breathe. And then, life. Not the montage kind. The small, repeatable kind. Saturday, open bay mornings at the shop, coffee truck, teenagers with blackened hands, a single mom crying when we replaced her wipers for free. The doc shorts started getting shared. A gallery downtown asked to project 2 of them on brick during an arts walk. Mom slipped a note into my lunch, proud of your steady. Dad asked, need a torque wrench? Which is how he says, how's your heart? I took a cheap road trip, Flagstaff, neon motel sign that buzzed, cold air that tasted like a reset. I hiked until my calves complained and filmed hands. A luthier sanding frets, a baker twisting dough. I sent taco selfies to Jenna's kids and promised to teach them to change a tire before they graduate high school. Madison's family faded into their own gravity. Dina pivoted from PR to piety. Rick rebranded the seminar again. Caleb sulked into the background noise where men go when the spotlight stops feeding them. Avery and I kept our texts boring and kind. Dog photos, playlists, the occasional look, the sky, nothing lit with fire, which is exactly what I trust now. Do I still wake up some mornings with the projector frame stuttering? The kiss, the skirt, the laugh? Yeah. I drink water, hit the bag, balance the ledger, and pick up the camera to point it at hands making honest things. The frame fades. The day fills. If you're reading this from your own blast zone, here's the short version I wish someone had shoved into my hands on day 1. Document, don't detonate. Screenshots and timelines beat screaming. Paper is undefeated. No contact means you send it and you enforce it. Not her softened version. Yours via counsel. Revenge that boomerangs is still a wound. Pick clean over cinematic. Your worth isn't the variable. Some people are addicted to secrecy's high. You can't outperform that hunger. Build a life that isn't about the wound. 3 verbs a day. Mine were hydrate. The house is quiet now. Not empty, just finally honest. Taco thumps his tail. The coffee hisses. A text buzzes from a gallery confirming dates. I look around at this non-movie life, pancakes on Saturdays, grease under my nails, art on brick, and realize I didn't win a war. I just stopped fighting shadows and started living where the light is.